My pants were too tight and I'm freaking out. It's just coming, it's coming. Eventually I start peeing. Okay, pause. Let's go back. So I was just getting out of the military and I was not transitioning at the time, but I guess I shouldn't say that because your transition doesn't start soon as you take hormones. I was starting to become very feminine, but I was not having thoughts that I was transgender. I was just starting to become more accepting of the inner me. So after leaving the military, I started college and I kind of just wanted to be to myself. I didn't really want to hang out with anyone or make any new friends. However, I did meet my best friend during that time, and my very first time hanging out with her and her boyfriend invited one of his friends. And for the rest of this video, he is going to be named Brad. So I get invited out to Wynwood, the art district here in South Florida. Eventually, Brad shows up, and Brad is very, very attractive. I didn't know Jeannie that well. I also didn't know her boyfriend Raph that well. And I also definitely didn't know Brad. So I was trying to be very respectful. I had never hung out with them before. I was trying not to get too crazy, just have a chill night. Jeannie, on the other hand, had other goals. She got me so freaking wasted. I mean, we were just ordering shot after shot after shot, buying rounds here, buying rounds there. I was having the time of my life. I wasn't expecting to have such a good time and people to be so okay with the drinking part, because when you're in the military, you drink a lot. And I'm like, okay, I feel like I can be myself around her. She's actually a really cool freaking person. So we're having fun. We're bouncing from club to club. And Brad kind of starts like flirting with me and I'm confused. I'm like, I don't know what's going on, but I mean, I kind of like it. He's like the mountain man type. I feel like every story it's someone with long hair. He's a big burly guy. I believe his eyes are brown. I think the most attractive thing about him was his voice. He had like a really deep voice and he just had this like mysterious thing about him. So at some point, I feel like Brad got lost or separated from us. He went to some different club. We went to a different club. So I thought that was all I was going to see from him for the night. And then next thing I know, he kind of shows up again. So I'm like excited, but I'm kind of getting invested in him. And I'm like, where were you? Me and Jeannie have to pee, but we didn't want to go back in. I think they were closing, so we decided to go pee in the bushes. Mind you, I am trans and I'm trying to pee in public, and Brad doesn't know that I'm trans. So I'm reaching like from here, trying to pull my pants off, and I think I was wearing a belt or something. For some reason, I just could not get it off in time. I could not. I didn't want to stand back up because then it would be obvious. My pants were too tight and I'm freaking out. It's just coming, it's coming. Eventually, I start peeing. So basically, I was peeing on myself. We're laughing, and I turn to Jeannie, and I'm like, Jeannie, I'm peeing on myself. And she's like, it's okay. It's okay. I'm like, is it okay? Brad, he's like, hey, let's all go to the beach. Eventually, we get in his truck, I believe. We drove to the beach, and this is where things got spicy. We're just walking along the beach. I am like trying not to let Brad walk behind me because I just urinated on myself. I don't know what my clothes look like. I don't know what I smell like. And I'm trying to act like nothing happened. Eventually, I kind of did forget it even happened. And we get to this one hotel that had like these cute little cabanas and stuff. They're like, yo, we should jump the fence. We should go in there. And in my mind, I'm like, we're drunk. What if we get caught? I mean, it didn't take much convincing. I was like, okay, let's do it. Let's freaking do it. So we jumped the fence. I instantly realized how drunk I am. I start stumbling everywhere. We get in there and we get into the cabanas. Jeannie and Raph kind of go off into their own cabana, and then it's just me and Brad. I'm realizing how drunk I am. I'm starting to smell the fumes from the mess I've made on myself, and I get very embarrassed, very self-conscious, and Brad kind of starts putting the moves on me. He asks to take off my shoes. He takes off my shoes. He starts giving me a foot massage. We're talking. My foot is in his crotch. I can feel things. It was very hot, but at the same time, I'm like, oh no. What is going on? He starts rubbing up my thigh, and at that point I smacked his hand away because it was wet up there, okay? I had urinated on myself, and also I'm like, why are you hitting on someone that's so drunk that she peed on herself? That's weird. That's weird. Get off of me. So I'm sitting here in this cabana, laying there like a beached whale, smelling like God knows what. And this boy is filling up my thighs. So I freaking smack his hand away. I'm like, oh no, this is not what's going on. He kind of looks at me and then is kind of like questioning things. So I think he realized at that point that how drunk I was. I don't even know if he realized that I peed on myself, but I think he realized at that point how drunk I was, because I was like starting to slur. I was gone. So he kind of walked away. He found Jeannie and Raph and was like, yo, let's go. Which is also kind of a douchebag move, like, because I'm not giving it up to you. Anyways, I think Brad takes his truck and goes home. Some reason we were Ubering back. Just me, Jeannie, and Raph, from what I remember. Maybe he lived the opposite direction or something. I get motion sickness when I'm riding in cars. If I'm not driving or sitting in the front looking at the road, I get motion sickness. And I'm sitting in the back, I'm getting sick along with being drunk. We kind of hit this railroad track and I'm immediately like looking for the window. Mind you, I also don't have a gag reflex, so when I puke, it's very peaceful. I don't do all the gagging, all of that making noise and stuff. I kind of just spit it out. Jeannie's like, are you okay? I'm like, so they didn't even know I threw up. Jeannie drops me off. The next morning she calls me. She's like, hey, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, I was hungover, but I'm good now. She's like, oh, okay. And we start talking about everything that happened at night. Not once did she mention me peeing on myself, being drunk, or throwing up in the Uber. Eventually, I'm like, wait, how did we get home? And she's like, oh, we caught an Uber. Oh, by the way, you threw up in the Uber and they charged me like $250. And I'm like, what? I'm like, why would you not tell me that right away? That's when I knew. I was like, okay, see, this is a real one. This is a good friend, you know. She didn't even make it a whole big deal about the throwing up stuff or me peeing on myself. Like, she didn't even question that or bring that up, you know. It was just like no judgment. And I was like, this is a real one right here. This is a real bitch. After hanging out with Brad, I don't really see him again. I got in a relationship with this guy, and this was like my second or third time hanging out with Jeannie them this time. I invite my boyfriend at the time to go out with us. I didn't know they were inviting Brad. So me and my boyfriend are at this bar for about 30, 45 minutes. So Brad shows up and I'm like, hey, what's up? I guess my boyfriend at the time sensed the tension, like immediately he got upset. My boyfriend at the time turns to me and he's like, how dare you bring me out with someone that you've done things with, and starts accusing me of all these crazy things. And I'm like, what? I'm like, I have never done anything with this guy, but I would like to. I have not done anything with this guy. So I'm like, calm down, nothing happened. You're reading into things, nothing happened. I just met this guy once in my life. I was like, let me buy you a drink. I go over to the bar and get a drink. And I'm not gonna be awkward and go to the other side of the bar. I went next to Brad and I'm like, hey, so how you been? Just talking to him. And I guess we were laughing because that's what people do when they talk to each other. It wasn't like a we weren't flirting about anything. Maybe we were talking about like how drunk we were or something. I don't know. My boyfriend thinks we're flirting. So he comes over, he's like, yo, this is my girl. You got a fucking problem? He gets up in his face and starts causing all this drama. And Brad is just very chill and relaxed about it, which was super freaking attractive. Like, my gosh. My boyfriend at the time was tall and like very, very masculine and like constantly fighting people and like been to jail and like tattoos all over his body and stuff, like that type. He's like, did y'all do something before? And he's like, no, I haven't done anything with her. My boyfriend's like, yo, you fucking gay or something? Are you gay because you like my girl who I'm also dating? Does that make you gay? Does that make us gay? Are we three gay? So that was a very confusing moment. I think at that moment, my boyfriend realized he was losing the argument. Brad was like, no, I'm not gay. Are you gay? Like, okay, enough of this. Let's break this up. I'm like, here's our drink finally. Thank you. Let's go outside or something. We go outside and my boyfriend's like, yo, I'm not happy about this. So we kind of start laughing it off. He's like, I'm sorry. I don't know what came over me. I thought something was going on. He kind of is like, you wanna. So I'm like, Okay, this can be kind of hot. Let's do it. So we walk around the building. There's a big parking lot on the side of the building. And he's like, this is the spot. Rows and rows of U-Haul trucks. We're in between the trucks, but no matter where you stand, someone can see you from either direction of the street. Also, there's buildings looking down on us, and we're just in the middle of this parking lot starting to get it on. So we do it. I kind of pull my pants down and we start getting it on in the parking lot, and it was very hot. That's basically how the story ends. That's how this story ends. It ends with a magical ending. That's terrible. That's terrible. So yeah, I just like sharing my stories because I think it helps trans women see that everything's not dark. And also it helps people in society see that trans women we have normal lives, you know? We have good hookups, we have bad hookups, we have terrible relationships, we have good relationships. And I think that stories like this just attest to that. Tell me what you guys thought. Me and Brad never hooked up or anything. Or don't be afraid to comment. I always look forward to hearing you guys' comments. I try to answer everyone's comments, so don't comment thinking that you won't be heard. I take my time and I read all the comments. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, don't be afraid to check out my other videos. I have more He Didn't Know I Was Trans videos, which you can see by clicking here. And that's it for this video. Love ya. Ja.